Hi, I'm Adam. Adam at Classroom Tech Tools, and I'm the author of this repo. And I wanted to show you how to get your managed back OpenApply data into your Google spreadsheet so that you can use it for a interesting, fascinating, amazingly powerful platform called Google Data Studio. So basically, you start with this repo, and you scroll down and it makes a copy of this spreadsheet. If you're not familiar with app scripts, I can kind of give you a lowdown on what this is, because you're not just making a copy of a Google spreadsheet, you're also making a copy of like an entire code base that lives on that platform I just mentioned called Google app scripts. So you access those app scripts by going to Tools and Script Editor. Every spreadsheet has it. You might not have seen it before, but it is there. It's kind of like the macros and the functions. It's kind of like a full version of that. You can write code to do anything, and so so when you copy, it makes a copy of this of the code here, and it uses libraries which are here, and it relies on services which are at the Google Cloud Platform layer, which is not important for our sake, but this gives us permissions to interact with spreadsheets basically. And there, so you're doing quite a lot with that copy, and it's kind of a miracle of modern day technology. This is even possible. It's just amazing. So I've written a bunch of code. I figured out a workflow to download, interact with APIs that are available publicly on ManageBack, and then you just enter some tokens like a password, a username and password, and you click run, and then it will do it all. Pretty cool. So anyway, so what you do here is you go to globals and you fill in the auth token. Now these tokens come from your manage and OpenApply. There's an API manager. You go there and you can retrieve these values. You just put it in whatever it is there. Um, and then if you use OpenApply, this is the example we use today for OpenApply. We put your client ID and your client secret. This is version 3 of OAuth. Of OAuth. So, and you also need your subdomain. And so there's a few more simple variables. I'm going to switch this on to true because I am going to use a real school's data, and I don't want to display it to the world, obviously. So I'm going to protect the data by hitting that true. And to make it simpler and faster, I'm going to make active only true, which means it's only going to download current students, current parents, and classes if I am downloading them, although I won't be today. Classes that are active at the moment. And these things you can, like it says here below here, don't need to change it. You may have to change the sync keys, but only do that if you see an error key asking maybe you should change it. So that's what happens. Now give me a second while I actually input these secret things into there, which I won't record. But anyway, give me a second. Okay, thanks for that second. I've gone in and filled those globals in there, and I've moved over to OpenApply because our first example, we're going to run OpenApply's data first. So I can choose between running all these different functions here. This is the run function. Yours may look slightly different. I have some extra stuff over here, never mind that. But basically, you're running this function, which is defined there. So you see how there's functions on the side, and they're just names of functions. They look kind of weird, maybe because they have snake case, we call that. But there's there's one main one, and there's one incremental one, and there's a big difference between the two. And a full run, running full, it means it's downloading everything all at once. An incremental is after the full one, if you want to just update since the last time it ran. So you run a full one, and then a day later you run an incremental one. It only will download uh, the ones that have changed since the last run. Managed-back APIs have a way to tell it to ask only for not for everything, but only for the stuff that you need since the last time. And so it does that. Now, if you were to make a mistake and you accidentally run incremental run and you hadn't run the full one, it will fall back to the main one anyway. But let's get into a good habit of running the full one as sort of expected. So I just click on run, and what it does is it takes that stuff that's in the globals, the username, password, and it starts interacting with. Right now it's not done much of anything. It's just doing some initialization, some platform initialization so far. And so finally, it's asked me for the authorization to look at my permissions, and it might give me the screen and will tell me it's not verified the app. So that's just a fail-safe because we don't want people to be just publishing anything. And if you trust the Classroom Tech Tools repo, you can take a look at the code itself. You can see what it does. It doesn't do anything nefarious, but these permissions are required to see the files because we're going to update the spreadsheet. So it does a lot of, actually don't know what slides are for. Huh, I need to look into that. But anyway, you can trust the fact that I published my code open source. Anyone can inspect and see what's going on with it. Nothing nefarious. So just to go ahead and run, and it finally now it's executing. And it does execute rather verbosely. It's telling you some gibberish here. Maybe to you it's gibberish or maybe not, but it's giving you the interactions with the API that's actually happening. And so see this OpenApply at the student's endpoint. It's getting 50 at a time, and the since ID means since 0, meaning from the start. And so it's getting the next one, next batch, after next batch, after next batch. And it'll take a bit of time. That's all right. I can keep going while it's processing. Okay, here, converting to rows. So I'm almost done. It's updating spreadsheet via post request with batch request. It's just a fancy term for it's making a lot of writes, but at once and not one at a time, very slowly. It's all doing one big write at a time. So it's updated 43,000 cells. Pretty cool. So it does take a little bit of time because it's done so much, so much stuff. It doesn't actually show up here yet, quite yet. It will. Maybe I'll just refresh it to hurry on the process. I don't want to navigate away. Here it goes. Yep. Okay. So all I do is wait a split second longer, and I get a new Stu tab. I click over, and I have a bunch of student data show to the whole world. No, I'm joking. These are all fake data because I hit protect data. Yes. Awesome. Protect data only changes the values of these personal identifying information like addresses, emails, dates, birth dates, that kind of stuff. But the IDs are whatever the actual endpoint put back. So kind of cool because it's real data. It's better than faked up, made up data. It's the IDs actually correspond to each other. So this ID is the real ID, and then it has a bunch of. You can see how many columns are. I mean, it's just amazing, right? Like think about how much data that really is. It's basically all the whole school's data in one tab. OpenApply is the whole data on the students. It also includes the linked parents, right? So because every parents are linked to students in OpenApply, and so it's here. So the first parent's address is there. The address underscored II field is there, right? Which city that first parent in, so the main parent. So you're scrolling over and he has parents of 1, sub 1, I guess. So that's the second parent, and it goes as many parents as it's defined. So we see that no student has more than 3 parents, so there's only that many there. Now what's great about this is that when it runs again, even if I change the order of the columns, even if I hide these columns, I don't care about these things, right? I can insert column here, okay? Suppose you maybe use a spreadsheet to comments to I don't know what comment you might have, still deciding, if you're an admissions officer, you might have some kind of comment or whatever. And you can do that, and when it runs again, when you do the increment run, which would be here, it will update. It remembers where it puts things. Basically, it updates the proper cell. So really, really powerful, really useful. The only thing it can't do though is delete a column. So I don't have a good way of solving that problem of knowing what to do when someone's deleted. So basically, I just punted and said, please don't delete. It will break. It will be undefined behavior. But anyway, just don't delete columns. But you can hide them, no problem. So you notice here that every single header has a unique value, guaranteed 100% by the library itself. What it's doing is it's using the actual structure of the data itself to give it a header. So the parents, is a list. Parents is a list of parents, a list of parent accounts, parent data that includes an address. So it's a list, so it has to be numbered, right? And each parent has an address, each parent has a city, each parent has a name and last name and first name, mobile number, et cetera, a country and all that stuff. So it's guaranteed that headers are unique. Now this is really important for the Google Data Studio because if the headers are not unique, then it would have no way of differentiating um, between what's what column is what. So I'm setting up Google Data Studio for the first time, so it's giving me all these options, and which is only the first time. So I want to create a blank report, and what I have to do is define a data source. It's a visualization tool, and so I'm going to tell it to use Google Sheets as a data source, and so I just need to authorize it. And I think that's the last one. Yep. And I tell it, by the way, I was just selected on the tab. So that I choose a spreadsheet, the tab that I want to use a data source. And this is effectively using, just load it up there, open it up for me. And I now add it. And so what it's doing is it's saying like it's gonna parse that data. It's gonna say, is it good enough for me to use it? Can I do this? Can I verify it to be used? Okay, good. Yeah, I can. Yep. So add to report. Yay. Now I have a data source. Now it's gonna give me a default like chart, which is like useless. So I'm gonna just delete it. All right, so you can make charts. You can make pivot charts. You can make bar charts, pie charts, all kinds of charts. I'm going to make one that gives you a breakdown of gender per grade. So let's see. That's how it will work. Okay, so I'll make a default chart, and I have the chart has X and Y's, right? Row dimension, and then well, actually, a table just has row dimensions and labels on top. So we have first name. Don't want first name because I want to break down by gender by grade. So the first thing I want is grade. Okay, where's grade? There it is. So grade. Now it's giving me grade in some random order. Well, I can change that later. I can sort it, but it'd be sorting by alphanumeric, and I can sort that by going down to sort. And right now it's sorting by how many grade 3s I have. So this is an enrollment figure basically. I don't want to sort by that. I want it to sort by grade. So I just click on grade and it will sort by grade. But that's going to be kind of alphanumeric, not perfect. Firefly should actually be first before early years, and then grade 1 obviously doesn't occur before grade 10 because it's alphanumeric. But I'll fix that on another. I first want to show you how to get male gender information. Now, gender, where's that coming from? It's coming from the spreadsheet because the spreadsheet does have gender as one of the and so because it's using random information, it's got all kinds of genders which are not actually valid OpenApply ones, but we'll roll with it. And so we get gender, right? You can change the columns, right? And so like I said, I wanted to get a breakdown of grades and gender per grade. Sorry, did I say that right? I want to get a breakdown of genders by grade. And this is not the right kind of chart for me. What that is a pivot chart. Because a pivot chart takes data and organize it in kind of an aggregate. So what I do is I add a chart, go to pivot table, which is down here, and it will give me a column axis. So I have row dimensions and column dimensions. So this is actually what I'm looking for. I want the grades to be there, and then I want it to report how many males and females there are per grade. And that's the right way to do that. I'm going to change first name to grade as before, right? A little bit slower, I think, because it's a pivot table. And I want to take the column dimension, which is the stuff coming down, to gender. Okay, so this is now how many I don't even know what trans males I have, trans females I have per each grade, and it outputs it nice and neat for you very quickly. And what I want to show you is how in the world did I get to sort it when it's doing that. Okay, so the data source has a way of saying, I need to add a data point on my data source that just gives me the grade without the word grade, just a number. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is think about, all right, is there like a field? Do we already have that? Okay, like do we already have um, a field called grade number or something like that? And we don't. Because if we did, this is alphabetical, it would be right there. And there's no such, we're just scrolling around, can't see anything. So if it, because it's a spreadsheet, we have a few ways to attack this. We could actually add a column, right? And make it grade level, or maybe grade number or something. And then we can use like formulas to like parse it and to extract the number 8 from there and fill down, and that's one way of doing it. I'm going to show you the Google Data Studio way of doing it, which is I think a better solution and more portable and just cooler. The Google Data Studio solution for that is basically to edit the data source itself to add what's called a calculated value, a field. Add a field, and you're getting a new calculated field. And so I can actually go in here and I can look at my grade, right? And I can extract from that grade using formulas and functions a number from it, okay? And I'm going to do that right now, but I'm going to have to go back to where I have it already and copy and paste it. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm back. This is what I've come up with. I've kind of cheated because I've already sort of got the solution on hand. But to be honest with you, this took me a while when I came up with it. So you have a case statement. When the grade is equal to kindergarten, then the year that number is 0 because kindergarten grade 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's why I just told it basically, if I see the word kindergarten in the grade field, then we should get return a 0. If you see early years 2, which for us is just before kindergarten, return a -1, early years 1, return a -3, and Fireflies is like, reception, the smallest of the three. So return a negative number. And then otherwise, what I want to do is take the word grade out of it and but extract those digits. So that's how you do it here, and you have to cast it as a number in order to make all the functional stuff work. This cast as number is how that works. Cast as a number, and then the regular expression extract. This is a regular expression. If you don't know what a regular expression is, it's fun to look up, but your head might go a bit. But this is basically it. Your manage back might have year there, so just change it to year. But because you get the idea. All right. So then when I save it, what it does is make a new field called grade. No, called grade number, and it will then be filled with values. Every row will have a grade number, and now I can use that to display on my visualization. So I'm closing this out, and I want to add it to my dimension. I want to make it a row here. Row grade number shows up. It's a number only. You see how the type of the each data's type is there. So now I have grade number. Now I want it to be to the left, so I just move it up. So that way it's showing like so. Now sort by that. And go down to the sorting. The sorting is hard to find. I wish this was easier to look at, but anyway, so you have sorted, ascending from smallest to greatest. Okay, now we're talking. And what I do is I just make this smaller because I don't actually need to see the grade number. I just kind of make it over there, and the user just kind of notice the grade there. And then I'm into business. I basically got a report using almost no time at all of a breakdown of the data. So I view it, and I get this a scrollable. If you only have 3 genders, then it'll obviously be much easier to look at. Now, this is what's super awesome. This is Google. So I want to embed it into a Google site. Well, guess what? Go to File, Embed Report, enable it, and then you have your embed URL. Take it to your Google site, embed it just like normal. And this time I'm going to make a nationality pie chart. Easy as. go to nationality. It's there. It's in OpenApply, and that was so easy. Now I can do some interesting things. Now you see the date range dimension. You can remove that. So um, I want to get a output of nationalities, but only for those who are. If you want to see people of the most recent who joined us. Let's see, include who joined you. Admitted date is greater than or equal to, and then a date. All right, so like maybe a year ago, like since a year ago. So you want to see nationalities of those who joined us recently. That's useful. That's not nationality. Sorry, it's the genders, but you could do that for the probably more useful, more meaningful to do that for the nationalities. Those who have joined us recently, what are the nationalities in last year? And you go down to filter. Now, because I already defined it, it saved it, and I can just click it again. See how easy this is? And so I got, wow, yeah, interesting. Okay, and that's all fake data, so that means meaningless. But that's basically how it works, and within a few minutes, you got it going, and there's more to it than that. Hope this gets you started. Hope you enjoy it. Have fun. Go crazy.